Okay, this is going to conclude the second part of 1.2 notes. If you recall from yesterday, we talked about how that the Enlightenment and other contributing theories, some of the things we looked at was the great examples of Greece and Rome in the construction of the U.S. Constitution. We talked about the Renaissance period and how it influenced. We talked about British Parliament and how that we get our two-house system, House of Representatives and Senate. We talked about the English Bill of Rights and the Magna Carta. Magna Carta, of course, 1215 would grant rights to the nobles, would put, for the first time in history, the king under subordination to the law. And we also talked about how that the English Bill of Rights in 1689 would be granted to all citizens of England. So there again, all of these are pieces of the puzzle that we're talking about here that would be contributors to the development of the Constitution. And there again, these delegates at the Constitutional Convention are brainstorming, are putting all of these pieces on the table in order to be able to construct a very good governmental system. And indeed, you can say that it is, because of course from 1789 till today, our Constitution has been rather successful, with changes here and there, but it has proven the test of time, so to speak. All right, so the conclusion of the notes for 1.2, we are going to look at some characteristics of each of these additional Enlightenment thinkers: Thomas Hobbes, Locke, Voltaire, Montesquieu, and Rousseau. So these notes should be relatively short for the most part. There again, don't forget to take notes, and don't forget to complete the assignment that needs to be turned in by the end of today. So there again, if you don't want zeros piling up on you and really hurting your grade, you need to really be proactive in getting stuff turned in. All right, so the first Enlightenment thinker that we are going to look at here in our notes is Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes wrote that all people are born with certain rights. This is where we get the idea of unalienable rights or God-given rights. Some would even refer to as natural rights, rights that the belief that no government has the right to take that right from someone. There again, this particular philosophical idea is what many of these delegates at the Constitutional Convention were influenced by, because there again, this big idea 1.2, philosophical ideas and how it impacted the American Republic and the Constitution. I believe that we did need a stronger government. There again, if you recall from the Articles of Confederation, our central government was relatively weak. It was weak for a reason, and that was to prevent, tyrannical rule. Stronger government was needed in order to be able to stay unified, in order to be able to have a consistent set of laws to keep everything in operation. Thomas Hobbes believed it should be true to the king or queen, believed that any abuses by the government are to be accepted as a price to keep peace. Of those four bulleted points, you need to know for Thomas Hobbes, the first, of course, is most important. This is where the main idea we get from him as far as the idea of unalienable rights, natural rights. Such the case in the Declaration of Independence, where it says that man is endowed by his Creator a certain unalienable rights: life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So there again, this philosophical idea certainly impacted in the writing of the Declaration, the carrying over in the Constitution, and even mentioned as well in the Bill of Rights. So first political philosopher, Thomas Hobbes, we credit him with the idea of natural rights. John Locke also believed in natural rights, as you see with the first bulleted point here. There again, God-given rights that people are born with, that no government take away. So John Locke, Thomas Hobbes are similar as far as the idea of natural rights, but where we start to differentiate and take maybe another angle from John Locke in comparison to Thomas Hobbes is the idea of a social contract theory. Third bulleted point is what you need to know most about John Locke, okay? His idea of a social contract theory. This is the main philosophical idea that we are going to take from him. Okay, a social contract theory. So we look at government the way that John Locke looked at it. And the way that he looked at it was this, that there again, that both citizen and government are in a contract with one another, okay, an agreement with one another, that the citizen would be willing to obey a body of laws, give up certain freedoms, all right? Now, when we say give up certain freedoms, we're talking about recognizing that you just can't go out here and do freely whatever you want to do, because there again, we've got to be governed by a body of laws, okay? That's what we mean by giving up certain freedoms, okay? So, citizen is willing to be subordinate to the government. In return, the government is to protect, okay? The government is to assist and help with, the citizens', needs, the citizens' amenities, okay, that they need as far as from, periodically. So, if the government breaks the contract, okay, then the belief is that it didn't keep the contract, so therefore the government needs to be replaced, okay? John Locke, social contract theory. You definitely need to know that and his association with that, and how he and his philosophical idea helped influence as far as our governmental system. Okay, so know that most about John Locke, social contract theory. Please remember that both the citizen and government are in a contract with one another. The government is subordinate to, or the government will operate and protect the citizen, will provide for the citizen as far as the needs that they may have in certain cases. There again, building roads, coining money, protecting as far as in situations of war. There are expressed powers mentioned in the Constitution that they are to be involved in with the citizen. The citizen in return, there again, if they're going to keep their end of the contract, is to be subordinate. Okay, and that is what we mean when we say a social contract theory. Know that about John Locke. All right, other Enlightenment philosophers, Baron de Montesquieu believed in a separation of power and government that you see in the first bulleted point. The second bulleted point believed that a three-branch system of government was most beneficial: legislative, executive, and judicial. Well, guess what? We took Montesquieu's philosophical idea and we throw it into the Constitution. If you study Article 1, 2, and 3, in which you will, of the Constitution, you will see that it lays out the framework for all three branches of government. Why did we choose three branches of government? Because they will provide a system of checks and balances. Okay, no branch of government can do or operate without checking with the other branch first. So no one branch of government becomes any more powerful than the other. Most will credit as a result of a three-branch system of government. This has enabled America to last as long as it has. All right, so we can credit the system of checks and balances and the three branches. Most democracies throughout the course of history have never utilized a branch system of government. So henceforth, that is another reason why we're most likened to a republic, because republics will incorporate different branches of government, and that's what we've done here in the United States, and that's what keeps the power in check. Henceforth, checks and balances. We can credit Montesquieu for our three-branch system of government. Voltaire is important, French philosopher. We get a lot of his ideas in regards to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion. You should know, for the most part, that that is influential as far as the Bill of Rights that would be added to the United States Constitution. First 10 amendments to the Constitution are the Bill of Rights. There again, first amendment, you see all this: freedom of speech, expression, religion. So right out of the gate with the Bill of Rights, we get Voltaire's philosophical ideas. Okay, so we credit him for his influence there. Rousseau promoted equality, a principle in which the Declaration of Independence was based, and social contract as well. So know that about those philosophers. Know how that their particular ideas influenced the American governmental system. Other things that influenced within the colonies, as we were in a working capacity for the colonies themselves, we even took ideas from yesteryear in the colonial period. You got to recognize now we are, in state form. But we said, well, what worked in the colonies when they came to the New World, we still need to keep those things. And of course, the Virginia's House of Burgesses, first body of elected officials in the New World. There again, so there was a legislative body, a representative body. We said, we want to carry that out. Even, under the workings of the U.S. Constitution. So because of the representative body in the Virginia's House of Burgesses, it is going to influence, the House of Representatives, and the U.S. Senate, the legislative branch of government. So the Mayflower Compact, there again, would be drafted as the Puritan pilgrim would cross the ocean to the Americas. They wanted a government that would derive from the people and use town meetings to do so. Mayflower Compact is a good form of self-government in the colonies that would influence the consent of the governed democratic idea that even is used in the U.S. Constitution. Okay, and such is the case with number 3, the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. So those are 3 notable happenings in the colonial period of American history that would also carry over, and their practices would carry over into an influence at the Constitutional Convention. All right, so that's all of the notes for 1.2. There again, make sure you take notes on this. Make sure you finish that comparing document assignment and be ready for 1.3. And so we'll see you then.